Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Sunday, the 17th of November. Well, for those of you that like certain angles, well, I'm going to give you a different angle than normal. I've got a stinking hangover today, and I've got a bit of a cold. So that's a different angle. So maybe it might be a bit of luck. That might be, or it might be completely wrong. Anyway, this was going to sound garbage because my head's pounding and I'm bunged up, so I tend to forget exactly what I'm going to say. So similar to normal, to be fair. So it's a 10 pence each way, lucky 15, and a pound each way accumulator. So these are interesting selections. So first of all, I placed this bet about 10 minutes ago. Um, when I say 10 minutes ago, 9:51 Sunday morning. Sorry, 9:41 Sunday morning. I'm recording this video at 9:51. So let me get into it. So as I said, it's a 10 pence each way lucky 15 and a pound each way accumulator. In fact, I'm not going to get into it. Yesterday it was a losing day. £13.85 I think returned. Um, I think it was. Don't get me wrong. Was it 28 on, and then it would have been 38 on, including the football. So whatever you did, it was a losing day. If you managed to choose my selections extremely selectively, you had a 40 to 1 place, a 22 to 1 place, which was the 22 to 1 place was King of the Dance. No, King of the Dance, I think. Then we had the winner in the same race, King of the Speed, which won at, don't quote me, 15 to 2, I think I tipped it at. Um, King of the Dance was back from 22 to 1 to, I think it touched 11 to 2 at some point. That came placed, it came fourth. I'll tell you what, two horses to put in your notebook for possibly Aintree, if notebooks still exist, or your ebook, or whatever it is, your tracker. So I would keep an eye on the two horses that I tipped yesterday. I believe they were travelling as well as anything when they turned the bend at Cheltenham. I think they don't like the track, on that particular occasion there was either a little bit short of fitness or don't like the track. One of them was called Z Band, and I can't remember the other one. They were both trained and ridden by the Gilligans. It won't take much just to have a quick flick through, but put them in your trackers because they were travelling as well as anything. But both of them pretty much. One of them stopped as soon as it turned the bend, and one of them stopped as soon as it headed towards the final flight. Um, I don't think they handled the course very well, or they didn't yesterday anyway. So definitely worth keeping an eye on. And also, I don't know if anybody noticed, Savit Victory came fourth at 66 to 1, but that doesn't tell the full story. That obviously came place for us. It was a return. It came fourth at 66 to 1. It actually touched 8 to 1, but I took 40s because I thought that were well big enough. Did you know that on the day it also touched 11 to 1 before racing? Because I thought, hey, up, get in there. I've got a 40 to 1 chance. It's now 11 to 1. And then about 10 minutes before the race, I said to my mate, I says, you never guess what? I backed horse in this race. It's 40 to 1. It's now 11s. I says, have a look. And I went, it were actually 80s. I'm like, what's going off? There's something very odd about the odds recently in the last month, I would say. So yeah. So once again, it's a 10 pence each way, lucky 15, and a pound each way accumulator. So the first selection is a bit of a fingers crossed selection. It's from a stable that are actually going pretty well at the moment. That I used to follow religiously when it was Colin Tizard. It's now Joe Tizard. It's been a bit in and out, but it's been a bit more in recently. And you will. I've actually backed two of his today, and this first one is part of the reason why I'm backing it because I'm backing his other one as well, and I think maybe he could have a decent day. So it's trained. Sorry, it's owned by something like the Joe Tizard Racing Club or something like that. So it's also a big day at Fontwell because it's the Summer National there, Southern National, not the Summer National. As I said, I've got a headache and a bunged up nose. So the first selection is Diamond Days. I've left the price in the 12.20 at Fontwell. The tricky thing about this race is it's 8 runners. So you know exactly what's going to happen. We're probably even going to get to start. Well, if we get to start time with 8 runners, jackpot. But then you've got a very good chance that something might. All of a sudden, you'll see a jockey jump off at the start and thinking, "Oh, here we go, get back on, get back on." So there's 8 runners, so it's tricky. So you might want to decide to put the bet on just a few seconds before off time because this is the first selection. But Diamond Days, it's got a kind of profile that I wouldn't go for, but I think two out of the first three in the betting in this race are vulnerable. Being vulnerable, all three of them have only achieved racing post ratings over hurdles no higher than I think 101. It wouldn't take a fantastic horse to kick one of them three out of the placings. I think one of them's achieved 80 something, and that was a James Owen trained horse, and it was favourite that day, and it ran under par. One of them actually ran a decent race. Currently, as I'm talking, it's the third outsider. It's rated about in the 70s on the flat. And it was running out round about 1 mile 6. And what I said about 1 mile 6 horses is they can often get tapped for toe if it's a slow race. Well, it ran a decent race last time, but it still said, I think it's something like weakened flat. These horses that won round about 1 mile 6 on the turf are not seen to their full advantage over 2 mile. And you're probably going to say, I do believe I'm not sure if that was it East India Dog or something that ran yesterday. I don't think. I think I'm not. I think that came from the flat, but I can be proven wrong at times. But generally, horses that run close to 2 miles on the flat do not prefer 2 miles over jumps, especially in tactical races. But anyway, Diamond Days, I do believe it's ran once um, in a national hunt flat race. I do remember that Colin Tizard always used to say that only their half decent horses would go national hunt flatting. Um, so maybe this is half decent. That's what I'm clutching at. Joe Tizard is in half decent form. He's got an half decent jockey on board with Brendan Powell, and I believe it could sneak a place. I could be proved wrong. They might start last, hunt it round, and never even be involved whatsoever. But 28 to 1 currently, and I'm guessing it could be even bigger still come post time. I think it's got a chance. The second selection is also a Joe Tizard horse, and this is a bit more of a realistic horse. So it's called Whydah Gally. I've left the price. It's currently about 11 to 2 in the 5 past 2 at Fontwell, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse stays all day. I've gone for it because I know that the Tizards do like a runner in this race. As I said, it stays, and I do believe it should be prominent throughout, which I do like at this course, and I am awful at this course, by the way, at Fontwell. So, for those of you that don't like to listen to the video, I've given you the first two. All the selections are in the description. So the third selection is Does He Know? I've left the price in the 255 at Cheltenham, paying 4 places instead of 3. I think this horse is still a little bit more room for improvement, but I do believe a lot of the other runners could be wanting the run. This horse, I believe, will go to the front. I don't think it'll be too pestered. I think it'll go to the front. It's a Kim Bailey horse, and once they're in front, they are hard to pass. I'm not quite sure why David Bass left the stable, but Tom Bellamy is riding pretty well, and he is a stable jockey, and he'll know all about this horse. Seems to be riding okay. The stable's going all right, and I think it's got a chance, especially if it gets an unpestered lead. And the final selection is the most interesting, in my opinion. It's about 20 to 1. So the final selection is Black Poppy. I've left the price in the 330 at Cheltenham. This is the Great Wood Hurdle, paying 6 places instead of 4. I've picked about 3 in this race, and I tell you what, I actually think this could be one, or it could be one, or there could be several places filled by horses with huge odds. There's quite a few horses that have got chances at big prices that have ran recently, and I think some of the more fancied horses. Don't get me wrong; they would all like to win this race for the prize money, but I think a lot. of the very good horses will be returning probably in March. So they might not be fully tuned up today, although there is some very classy individuals or potentially classy individuals. It's normally a race that Nicky Henderson likes to farm, but I couldn't touch Nicky Henderson's horses with a barge pole. I've had a look at his form, and you might say, Charlie, he's had 4 winners in last, I think it was 4 days. Yeah, and I think 3 of them were odds on. And he's also had that Jericho, whatever it was that was odds on, that ran a very odd race. So Black Poppy, they had a run in this race last year called Nemean Lion. This horse, there are several in this race that I fancy because of the ground. It's going to be pretty quick out there. It's good ground or currently. I don't know when they describe it as in like when they say good ground in the racing post. Does it mean what they expect it to be start time? I'd say it's what it is currently, and there's no rain forecast, so it's only going to get quicker. Cheltenham's dries out very quick, and it's not really wet anyway. Let's be honest. Um, so I think this horse wants good ground. It disappointed on one of its rare occasions when it ran on soft ground. I do also think that John Joe Neal has got a chance with his horse because originally that was my selection, but I changed my mind. So for those of you who know my record for changing my mind, normally it's the other one that I originally chose that runs better. But I do like Black Poppy, and it has ran in the past well fresh. So I think it's got a chance. I'm not saying it's going to win by 10 lengths, but I think it can sneak a place at something like 20 odd to 1. So what I've had is I've had a 10 pence each way, look 15, and a pound each way accumulator. If we can get the first selection and the last selection placed, I'm a little bit more confident with the middle two. So we could have a potentially nice day. So it's fingers crossed. If all four come placed, we're going to have a cracking day just with the pound each way accumulator. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.